Can you feel the power? Can you feel the power? Feel the power of double XI.
Positive Power 21.org Internet Radio.
You're listening to Jerry Royce Live Worldwide Podcast.
Hey, my name is Davis and I'm from Haiti, but I live in Dominican Republic. I'm here, Positive Power 21, Jerry Royce Live Worldwide.
All right, family. Welcome to Positive Power, Double XI Christian Media. And you're listening to Late Nights with Jerry Royce Live Worldwide and Shay Samuels. So thank everybody for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed the video. That's right, we ran double back-to-back videos with Stephen Dalton and the Vinicus coming out of North Carolina. Awesome guy. He was here last Wednesday on Live Jazz Experience with DJ Lady Praise and DJ Jazzman out of Chestertown. Right, FM and podcast. All right, everybody, let's bring Shay on. We got some special guests tonight coming out of Columbia, Maryland. Let's see what Shay's up to. What's up, Shay? Shay, how you doing? What's up?
Happy Monday, Jerry Royce Live Worldwide, a.k.a. the Batman. I'm good.
Happy Monday. Yeah,
Monday.
You get your Mondays on. You know, you got your motivation thing going on, like three networks. You must be rich.
Yeah.
You must be rich.
That's favor. Shout out to the radio station that's playing them. But no, that's just favor. You know, we always talk about purpose and people aligning with the purpose, and everyone has a vision to build their platforms, and so you know, we all just bless one another, and that's just how it works.
Amen.
That's how the positive family works.
That's right. God is good.
Shout out to Kimmy Kim, Elations Radio. Shout out to Kimmy Kim.
Yeah, that's right. Kimmy Kim gonna be coming to Baltimore, well, DC, DMV real soon. I believe I gotta check because I think she's coming for the Eyes of Esther, if I'm not mistaken. Or
yes.
is
David
that what it is? Okay,
as well.
A Batman show. I bet. Actually, me and Mr. Appointed actually had done a red carpet a couple years ago for the first one. It was fun. Yeah, Howard G was there. Yeah, I had to hit him up. See you get Howard G there. Yeah, I thought he performed, if I'm not mistaken, or he just was her co-host on the red carpet. I don't remember because Jordan didn't come that day. I forgot he had something at school going on, and Batman had real high glucose levels during those days. Don't remember nothing. Yeah, I remember much.
You gotta get it together, Batman. You gotta get it together.
That was a rough time. That was a rough time for Batman. You know, it was just but you know, but God was leading us. You know, He put all this together for us. Because I can't take no credit. Because you know, my wife would tell you my memory was bad. But I was getting the kids' names mixed up, so it was real bad.
Oh, goodness. Well, we'll keep you in check when you're with us.
Yeah, Batman lost some friends during that time, too, because he can remember nothing. You know how people think you're ignoring them and stuff? I don't know.
Yeah, you know, I know.
I know. You had to help me out with some people. It was like, Batman didn't speak to me. Didn't know who you were.
He's like, he's not paying attention at all. He's so engulfed in his work and trying to make sure that the cameras and stuff, make sure the cameras are working, making sure that, you know, he's not even. I tell people just charge it to, don't charge it to his heart.
That's right, because when you see, that's right, because you see it online, they're gonna be wondering why it's all jacked up and everything. It's because I was talking to y'all. That's what happened.
Yeah, exactly. You can't, you know, my mom always say you can't win for losing, but yeah, that was more like a 3-week like damage control. Like it was almost like 3 weeks of damage control. Like, no, that's not who he is.
Yeah.
Like Batman? Well, just so you know, guys, if you ever see Batman at any event, he is like focused on all of the media because there's a lot of moving parts to it. And I know we can't get into to it tonight, but maybe we just need an episode on all moving parts.
It's a lot of moving parts. Yeah, that's right.
And we don't know what we're doing. We just show up. They might see three of us with you, but to be honest with you, you and Jordy kind of, Jordy's like, you're the setup man. Jordy comes after a setup. Everybody else comes after a setup. So
yeah, sometimes, Jordan, he helped me build a set and get everything, unloaded and all that stuff. But he's not going to be sitting there trying to figure out the audio levels. He gonna just focus the camera. He gonna calibrate. Yep. He gonna calibrate the cameras. Make sure that's what I want, and then he gonna make sure I got positions right because they know I'm gonna be looking at stuff, and he knows. You can't talk to me when I'm trying to get this stuff right because I'll go back and look at some footage and I'll dump it in a heartbeat if I don't like it. And some of the stuff I say.
You might need to get a sign, that you wear, you put on your back or something like that, like under construction or something like that. Whenever you,
I put television production on the back. What else can I say? Yeah, and real quick stories.
No, I'm saying just for people to know that they can't bother you at that time. Like maybe you need I
gotta warn them
tape or something in your area so they know. Like right now, I'm under construction. I'll talk to you later.
Yeah. We need more people. Well, real quick before we bring our guests on, because we got our new neighbors. My new neighbors in Columbia, Maryland. The Salleys are here. They're the relationship doctors, I call them. They specialize in marriage and all kinds of. So they specialize in blended families and second marriages, all that good stuff. But before we move on to them, I just was saying, I think. What you was talking on is so true because I think in Chestertown, I kind of rubbed a couple people back. 'Cause you know how people want to be so happy to see you and stuff. And it was really tight on schedule back then because it was 90 something degrees. I had gotten the wrong truck, so everything was exposed to the elements. I had bought the F-150 instead of getting a Suburban, and everything was exposed. They was calling for rain, so I was kind of concerned because I didn't want to forget anything. And we tried to get everything inside the cab, but then Sky came too. Remember, I had Jordan, Brandon, and Sky. So Jordan and I didn't have the cab space that we normally have in the back, for some stuff that can't get exposed to the weather. So, so I had a lot on my mind. It was super hot. The building had 3 levels we had to climb, and then the room was smaller than I thought. Because, we needed some space. So we took up like 3 rows. And it was expecting 50 something people it was the first time we did a live studio audience. And, when Lakeisha, when she show up to the set, Lakeisha gonna be the diva. She ain't doing nothing. You can't get Lakeisha to push no boxes, carry no brums, nothing.
You don't talk about Lakeisha. We love you. I ain't gonna let her talk about you like that. You do pick up the mic when it's time to talk.
Yeah, that's what she does. She only asks me where it is. I gotta give it to her. She'll say, "Oh, Jerry, where the mic at? Can I go get it? I'll hook the mic up." No, Lakeisha she gonna play it all the way to I say action. so anyway, at least and I'm kind of getting Paula kind of getting into where she can balance, the set but she don't like doing it. She don't like taking care of business and trying to focus on her thing. And getting her makeup and her hair, especially if her makeup artist not there, there's going to be trouble on the set. So it's a lot of tangibles that go along. People don't understand what you're dealing with. You got to deal with your talent and then the guests and, Facebook, sometimes the first time you're meeting some people and they want you to be so, and at that time, I had uncontrollable glucose levels, so I don't know how I was acting. But I'm much better now, y'all.
You need to know. Most of the time, you're not even focused on. You're focused on trying to keep yourself together as well.
Yeah, right. Because you guys will say, make sure you got something to eat, and now Lakeisha good about making sure I got plenty of food because she have like a caterer there. So.
We stop at the store before we go.
Yeah, so we straight now. Yeah, so we kind of got everything under control now, and things are much better. So forgive me, people. It wasn't my fault. That goes all the way back to the Lintons and the Bellows and everything. I had high glucose levels, and Dr. Kelly, all of y'all, all my friends. They probably say, "Yeah, Batman got issues sometimes." But anyway, glad Shay is here and Paula G and Lakeisha. They save me every time.
Yeah, we got your back. That's
right. Y'all got me. Because Jordy ain't going to say nothing. They going to just let y'all deal with it. All right. Let's let our guests on. What's going on, pastors? How y'all doing? Welcome to Positive Power. Late night. What's going on?
Doing well.
Hello. How are you guys
doing?
We're
How are
awesome.
you?
Awesome.
Doing great. Thanks for having us.
You're welcome. And, you could tell me and Shay we miss each other. You could tell we're a long way from each other.
Well, that's all good. That's all good.
We got to take our 10 minutes. That's right. All right. Well,
We're enjoying the show. No problems. No worries.
if I said Batman off the chain, we got to watch him, honey. Well, y'all be here soon, real soon. And I was hoping that I was going to get you guys here this weekend, but the weather was so out there, like, it's going to be real snow. Is it going to be, pretend snow? We're going to get ice. So once they start saying there's going to be ice in the area, then that's when I told my clients and Keisha, because we was going to film the Keisha show this past weekend. I was going to invite you guys to come hang out too. And Kelly Holland was going to be here. Yeah, it was going to be really nice. Wow. But, that weather, on the weekends, they don't give us no respect. The snowmobiles don't come out on the weekends. They let you fend for yourself. You'll find out the difference from the weekdays and the weekends when it comes to snow removal. So anyway, thank you so much, and I'll keep you guys in the loop the next time when we reschedule Dr. Jenkins. Okay? All right. Well, have a great show. All right. Thank you, Shay. Amen.
Thank you.
Amen. Amen. Well, welcome to the late night show, Jerry Royce Live Worldwide, a.k.a. The Batman, and I'm your co-host, Shay Samuels. I want to thank you all for tuning in on Monday. Every Monday, we have two awesome people that I'm going to be interviewing tonight, just talking with, conversing, getting to know a lot about them and what they have going on. So I'm going to say my hellos. Jerry said his hello, and I know of Miss Annie, so and Mr. Warren. So I'm going to say Miss Annie and Mr. Warren until you tell me otherwise. How are you both tonight?
That's quite fine.
Shay. Thank you.
We're doing great. Thanks for having us.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you. It's a pleasure. So I'm going to go ahead and read the bio and then ask you guys to tell the listening audience and the viewers on Facebook who you are outside of the bio. So I have ministers, authors, and certified marriage coaches. Warren and Annie founded Last Days Outreach Ministries in 1995 and pastored the Last Days Outreach for 14 years. And they also opened and operated a learning center for underserved children and the outreach and an outreach adult daycare center in South Carolina, and co-founded the Outflow Adult Day and Healthcare Center in Charlotte, North Carolina. Owners and executive producers, the Wake Up Call Radio and Television Network, which is home to 30 weekly shows, ranging from health and wellness to spiritual enrichment. Their gifts include preaching, teaching, coaching, and mentoring. Their combined hobbies include traveling, playing games, watching movies, traveling and spending quality time with his family and friends, reading and writing. They are committed to helping couples enjoy their mates at a greater level. Annie is the author of Wake Up Call, Waking Up God's Purpose in You. And we're going to talk a lot about that book tonight and what, again, you guys have going on. So it sounds like from the bio, there's a lot going on. So Miss Annie and Mr. Warren, allow the listening audience and the viewers on Facebook to learn more about you outside the bio. So who are you?
Well, you covered most of it, and that's quite wonderful. Thank you so much for that. My husband and I have been married for 31 years. We have 5 children combined and 8 grandchildren. This is our second marriage of 31 years, and we have a blended family of 5 children and 8 grands. And we do a weekly love and marriage talk show on Facebook and television on 12 different stations around the world. What else? We have co-authored 3 books. When the Vow Breaks, A Journey from Hurt to Healing. Second Time's the Charm, because we didn't give up on us. Beware.
Intimacy status.
Yes. So I think that concludes it. And we love the Lord. We love people, and we feel that we feel that God has called us because of our background, because of our broken marriage, because of all that we have endured with the blended family, we feel, what's the word I'm looking for? We feel that this is the area in which God wants us to go to empower other people. We feel compelled to help people in their blended families and their second marriage, to let them know that there's hope. You know, a lot of people die in the between stage, you know, after the divorce and after the relationship dissolved. But God has a greater plan. And that's what Warren and I found when we found one another. You know, I had been married for 3 years. He was married for a year and a half or so. And he had 2 small girls, 2 and 3. My son was 3. And that was a great season for us. You know, we had just gone through separation and divorce, and you have your children. So there's a lot of mental and emotional anguish.
Right, and we also had our own individual struggles, and God allowed us to use that to help other people and that are maybe listening tonight, maybe going through the same situations, and when we look back at it, we were like, God, why am I going through what I'm going through?
Yeah.
But it was for such a time as this that God has us to share our pains, our struggles, and to the world, just to be, we're an open book to people, and you know what you see is just what you get, Shay. It's just that's how we could sum it all up.
That's good. I like that, babe.
Yeah, and I've seen a lot of your photos, and you two dance with one another in your photos.
Thank you. you know. Sometimes I think back to that dark time, you know, when we were going through the transition of divorce, and God had a plan, and He had a better plan. You know, we chose the last mate, but God allowed our paths to cross. So this is God's doing, and it's beautiful in His sight, and it's beautiful in our sight that even after 33 years, we're still best friends. We still talk 3 or 4 times a day. We still enjoy each other's company. And so, you know, to God be the glory. We're just excited about what He's doing.
Yeah, and it's good that you can show it too, because, you know, not only are you talking it, but you display it, and that's so important. When you were saying the second time around, I thought about that song, Second Time Around. Did you guys get that? So it's important for people to know, and I always say that too. I mean, I'm young, but I have a very old soul, and I tell people all the time how important it is to understand every time we go through something, you know, we may see it as a struggle, but we know that God knows the end before the beginning. So what's new to us is old. Yeah. And so whenever something happens in our lives, you know, you talk about like the testing season, and that's really what you guys were going through. If you were going through a testing season.
Absolutely. And then even our bad experiences, we're to learn from our bad experiences. And so we talk about a lot of that in our relationship book that we co-authored. We talked about the good, the bad, and the ugly. We talked about the comparison from the first marriage to the second marriage. We talk about the lessons we learned. And so every day we are mindful and cognitive of those things, and we're careful for nothing. And so we're forever dating. We're forever, being mindful of those things, even as we do premarital counseling. We just got back from Georgia doing a wedding this past weekend.
And you didn't reach out to me. I got a problem with that.
Oh, my goodness. Are you there?
I am.
What part of Georgia were we in? Augusta, Georgia.
Oh, okay. You were about 2 hours from me.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're off the hook.
Okay. And you're in Maryland, is that right?
That's
Yes.
correct.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Well, I will definitely see you both when I come back. Again, I'm in Maryland frequently. As you were talking, I was just thinking about, there are a lot of people who are going through challenges in their marriages, whether it be first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth. But
Yeah.
the important thing is you both knew early on in your marriage when to let go, and not for you both, but in the previous marriages, when to let go. And so, in the old days, people used to kind of stay together for the children. They would stay together
Right.
because that's just traditionally what you do. There's a lot of reasons why. And, we want to wait until the kids go to college and you both were married for 1 year and then the other for 3 years. And
That's
so,
correct.
and it like you said, there was a struggle in between that process of you finding one another. But how were you aware? I guess that's what I want to say. How were you aware that it was time to let go?
Well, my marriage and what do we call it? Infidelity. And during that time, I was actually 6 months pregnant, so I had a lot of stuff going on. Here I am, married to this guy. We dated 3 years, high school sweetheart, and he said all the right things. He did all the right things, and we got married because we were so in love. We bought the new house. We bought the new car. We decorated the house with all this nice new furniture. So it was living the dream. And then one day it unraveled. And we even talked about that in our book, When the Vow Breaks, A Journey from Hurt to Healing, because what I initially thought would keep us together a lifetime, which was the love and the attraction, that wasn't enough. We didn't have enough commonalities. We didn't have enough compatibility, and those things are important. So in our book, When the Vow Breaks, A Journey from Hurt to Healing, Warren and I, what we did, we sat down and we thought about our lives in the last 32 years. What is the glue that has kept us together? And we decide to comb the 7 shares, communication, compatibility, faith and prayer, intimacy. All of these things are a part of the whole. So just love is not enough to keep you together. Because even in counseling, we hear people often say, I was in love with her, and so I decided to marry him, or I decided to marry her.
Yeah.
But we couldn't stay together. And I still love her to this day, but we couldn't stay together because that's all it was, that emotion, that love. So there was no commonality. Warren and I have so much compatibility. We just went to see Bad Boys for Life. We love movies. We love to walk in the park. We love traveling. We love reading. We love family time. We love the Lord. And see, those were the things that were missing in that first relationship. And though I tried my best to keep it together, we put it together. God didn't put it together. And so it continued to unravel until it was very unhealthy for me and for my baby I was carrying. And so we decided together, that, hey, I'm trying to be something that I'm not, and he was trying to be something that he wasn't. He was trying to be what I needed him to be, and I was trying to live in his shadow. So I wasn't being true to who I really was. And so that's what I love about our relationship, because we can just be us. We can be our goofy selves. We can be our serious selves. We can just enjoy each other in the good times and the bad times.
Amen. And it was more so for me. We were high school sweethearts as well, and she had gotten pregnant right before I went to the Air Force. She was still a senior in high school. I was in the Air Force, just got into the Air Force. When I got back, Shay, we got married, and we tried to work it out. But I think a lot of that came into our immaturity as individuals, and trying to be parents and trying to be, as the old people say, grown
when you really weren't.
really weren't. And as you said earlier, Shay, I tried to hold it together just because of the kids.
Yeah.
And it wasn't, and I can, I'm the one that's talking, but I can point the finger and just say, oh, it was all her. But I can look in the mirror as well and take responsibility.
You can see the man in the mirror?
I can see the man in the mirror, and that I had just as much to do in dissolving the marriage as she had. So I think a lot of the immaturity, we didn't have a lot in common. It was just, we were just love struck with each other, but we didn't have enough substance to hold it together.
That's good, babe.
That's really good. And I like how she coaches you on. That's good.
Good, babe. We have something.
Ladies, if you don't know already, the men need a little bit of that stroking every now and then, and
absolutely,
they need that. They need that as well. So take it from Miss Annie, because you hear her every time he speaks. That's good, because here's the thing, and you know this probably too, Miss Annie. When men talk, for some reason, as women, we want to correct everything that they're saying, or we want, we want to kind of be that like motherly figure, and instead you're saying, I am your partner, and I want you to know when you're doing well.
Absolutely, I love that.
Oh, I love that.
Y'all are amazing. So let's talk a little bit about the book. We're going to talk a lot about the book, but let's talk about the book, Wake Up Call.
Okay.
Waking Up God's Purpose in You. So how did that book come about? And, talk to us a little bit about that book.
What is so amazing about Wake Up Call, Waking Up God's Purpose in You? God had given me that book to write maybe 5 years before I completed the book. And before I completed the book, my mom was diagnosed with cancer, and I went to the hospital to see her, and she said she was waiting because she wanted to share some things with me. And she said, I've been waiting on this book. And she said, I know I will not be around when you complete the book. She said, but I just want to celebrate you now, because I know you will, and I know you will complete many books after. And so she passed maybe 2 weeks after that. And she and I, oh my gosh, when you saw, if I wasn't with my husband, I was with my mom. I mean, we were just that close. She was a part of our church the entire 14 years. She was, she worked for us at the adult daycare as a CNA. And when we moved to Charlotte, two and a half hours away from her, we still talked, sometimes 5 or 6 times a day. I mean, she was my coach. She was my prayer partner. She was my buddy. And so I missed her so. And during the time when she was sick, I could see God now. I could look back at it and see that God allowed me to ride above the storm, because she depended on me in so many ways to be strength for my siblings and for her. And so I did that, and I was able to do it in excellence, and I was able to do it in strength. And I did that the entire time. And when I got home that night after she had passed, it was as if a dam broke inside of me. And the grief was so real.
Wow.
And the house was so real on the inside of my spirit. And I just cried out. I was finally able, because she wasn't depending on me to be strong. My siblings weren't depending on me. And so when I got home and I began to deal with that pain, and the next morning I got up and I wanted to pick up that phone to call her, as I did for the last 48 years. I wanted to pick up that phone to talk to my mom. And the Holy Spirit said to me, he says, every time you miss her, go downstairs and write. And I told you that was therapy for me. And the more I wrote, the better I felt and what God was doing, he was channeling those, what do we call it? The seven stages of grief. Yeah. I was going through every stage of grief, but I was putting it in my writing, and the Holy Spirit was just giving me revelatory knowledge, and I was just doing it and typing and going through. We even went to Las Vegas on our vacation, and I felt that grief come over me, and I said to you, baby, y'all go ahead and enjoy yourself, and I stayed in the room, and I began to work on that book. So in the span of 3 months, I completed that book that had taken me, 5 years to write. And so even in her death, she was still mentoring me because she left that nugget with me. I know you will complete this book. And so what God wanted me to say through the book is time to wake up, helping the world to wake up, to be the greater you, to be the best you, to become who he's created us to be. And then we go on to talk about wake up God's purpose in you. That's who you created to be tonight. You know, you are a voice to the world. And so are we, and Jerry, and all of us that do this, and we're communicators, and we are inspiration to the world. So that's a gift. You know, we have different gifts and different talents, and what God wants us to do is tap into our gifts and use it to the best of our ability. Down through the years, I've opened we've had adult daycare centers, we've had learning centers. My first business was a beautician. I owned and operated my beauty salon. And I would often say to my family, if I ever stop doing hair, you need to call 911 because definitely something's wrong with me. Because I lived hair. I could go to sleep and dream of a haircut. And I had professors at the college. I had students. I had teachers from the high school. I was mainstream. I was the center of downtown. And so I never, ever had to market my business. I mean, I was just that blessed, and people would come in constantly. And I had a great clientele. But when I ran out of gas, when I didn't desire to do hair anymore, you know, God wanted me to know that's a gift. I mean, that's a talent, but that's not who are you to become. You know? So I'm becoming who I am today. You know, even after pastoring for 14 years, we sat there and we did great things. We grew this large church. We opened adult daycares and learning centers. And it was great. And we lived right next door. So we thought we were set for life. The money was great. Everything was great. But then that wasn't the end of the story. God had more. He was calling us to the world, such as we're doing today. And so I would like to say to anybody that's listening, don't stop. You know, we go from season to season, and we go from glory to glory. So don't ever think you're capped. When you're capped, you're out of here. When God is finished with you, you're capped and you die. But if you're still breathing, you're still living, God has more for you to do.
Amen. Let me ask you, Mr. Warren, as I was listening to Miss Annie speak, you know, it takes a great man to support a woman who's really living out the purpose. And for a lot of men, you know, and I'm saying a lot of men because it could be an age thing. I don't know. But a lot of men can be intimidated when their wives are walking out their purpose, and, you know, they fear the time that they spend on whatever God is creating us to do can take away from the time of the marriage. It could take away from the quality time of children. You know, before you know it, sometimes it's 3:00 in the morning and you you know, it's 3:00 in the morning and you have probably not seen one another all day. How do you deal with that from your perspective, Mr. Warren?
Oh, thank you, Shay. Growing up in the era I grew up in, we've been taught, you know, man is the man of the house, you the head, and the wife was always so serving. You know, we grew up in that era. For me, Shay, God has made us individuals first, and he made us. He gave us all gifts and talents to be used. But when Annie and I were married, he said the two shall become one flesh, and to a certain extent, a lot of times you got to look back, because a lot of times the enemy can come in and say, well, you hadn't seen her all day. She'll try to put little things in my mind to say that you haven't seen her all day. She's doing all this writing. She's doing all these things. But then the other side of me has to bind up the enemy and say, hey, the two. I realize that Annie has a gift and a talent that she has to share with the world, and I leave her space. We all leave ourselves space to do what God has for us to do, and it's vice versa. And we realize, I know that when she's up in that zone at 1 or 2 in the morning, I'm trying to get my sleeps on, and she's tapping away at the computer, or she's doing a lot, doing different things. I know it's God speaking through her, and I dare not get in the way of that, because I want her to be the best she can be, because when she's the best she can be, then when we come together, she could be the best to me. So that I don't want to bind up what God has.
I like it, baby.
I don't want to bind up what God has for me through her, because she can't express herself the way God has designed her to do.
Shay?
Okay, I'm talking and I didn't realize that my phone muted, but I said this morning, I said, so what would you say to women and men across the world, men across the world, no matter what age, who has a woman or woman, hopefully a woman in their lives, such as Miss Annie, who's walking out her purpose, living out on creativity, and possibly may be intimidated? You said it kind of within yourself, but what encouragement can you give them tonight? Because you said something that was really, really profound. Just you don't want to ruin your blessings, detaching yourself from hers. And you didn't say it that way, but basically it's just you understand that she's being obedient to her calling, and in that you're also going to be blessed. So what encouragement can you give men tonight who have women out there who's walking out like Miss Annie, and they're just walking out their creativity and their purpose? What encouragement would you give them tonight?
I would say be a part of it. Be a part of it. And one thing that Annie does is to involve me in what God is doing through her, and vice versa. A lot of times she includes me in her creativity. She'll say, God, well, babe, I'm looking at this. God is saying this and this and this. And she allows me to input into her what the Lord is speaking to me into what she's doing. So I say, as a man, we can, and don't be intimidated by what she's doing, but celebrate her. Celebrate. Learn how to celebrate. And as a man, it's not cowering down. It's not belittling to you.
Wow.
It's hey, I'll get in the kitchen and cook just like she can.
You better go ahead, Mr. Ward.
Yeah, I'll put on an apron and do what she does. And it's
whatever.
Yeah. You could be the cheerleader and still be a man, and that's part of being a man, because many years ago, I told her dad, I promised her I would take care of her, and this is what I'm doing, and whatever it takes for me to put her on a pedestal, that's what I'll do, and she does the same for me.
Absolutely.
So that's what I'm saying. Do not Men, don't be intimidated. Celebrate her. It's okay. It's fine. It's okay. I promise you it is.
Well, I would say shout out to the men who make the turkey and cheese sandwiches in the best bowls of oodles and noodles.
Right.
Oh, I can make a mean oodles and noodles now. Don't go there.
Shout
now.
out to the men that make the best ham and cheese sandwiches in the bowls of oodles and noodles. Well, Miss Annie and Mr. Warren, it definitely was a blessing for me to meet with you guys tonight, and I know for a fact that you've blessed a number of people, including myself. So I thank you for being transparent. Thank you for being transparent about your current marriage and your previous marriages. And I know for a fact that this book is going to heal and deliver a number of people. So talk to us about where we can get the book.
Okay. You can find our books on Amazon. You can find them at Target, online, Walmart, Barnes and Noble, yes, and several bookstores in South Carolina and North Carolina. But for the most part, you can find them all online. You just type it in, and they should come up. Yes.
And do you have any book signings coming up or anything that people need to know about where they can connect with you both?
We just transitioned here from North Carolina, so we don't have any scheduled. However, we're open. We're open to future book signings, and I'm sure we'll get some going on before the year is over. But for the most part, you can find them online. You can also listen to the Love and Marriage Talk Show on Facebook, Access 21.
On the iHeartRadio.
Yes, and
iTunes.
iHeart, iTunes, Google Play, Blog Talk. You can hear our weekly shows there. Or you can go to wakeupcallnetwork.com.
Well, I know that you're definitely in the right hands with Positive Power, being so close to Jerry Royce. I'm sure that I will be seeing you guys on the Red Room and other shows like My Journey. I'm definitely looking forward to connecting with you both face to face and just really seeing and following your journey and seeing what God has in store for you both as you bless everyone else. So I'm sure I will be seeing you both soon. And as we close the show, you said that you do have a website. Did you say your website?
That's correct.
Okay.
www.wakeupcallnetwork.com.
Okay. So make sure that you connect with both Miss Annie and Mr. Warren. As you can see, they both have been a blessing, a blast of fun tonight. There were some serious notes. There were some high notes. There were some low notes. But we got everything that you just laid it on the table for us tonight. And I love having these type of talks because it does give people an opportunity to think, to regroup, and to be restored at the same time. So it was a blessing for me to be on the line with you both tonight. Now, before you go, because this is your first time on the show, I'm going to tell you what we do, and then we're going to do it, okay?
Okay.
I ask you both if you can feel the power. So I say it 3 times. Can you feel the power? Can you feel the power? Can you feel the power? And you're going to say with all your might, I feel the power. Okay? All right. So Mr. Warren and Miss Annie, I have one more question for you. Can you feel the power? Can you feel the power? Can you feel the power? Yes! We can feel the power. You both have a blessed night.
Yes, man. God bless.
All right, family. Thank you so much for tuning in to Positive Power, WXI Christian Media. Don't forget, y'all, we're going to have some music videos playing behind this. So we hope you hang around and support these independent artists. Also, don't forget about Tuesday, y'all. That's right. Tuesday, we got a powerful lineup starting at 8 o'clock with Dr. V. And then joining her right after her is, that's right, God Testimony with Paula Breon coming out of New York City. And then we're going to go all the way down to South Carolina. That's right, Florence, South Carolina. My bad. That was with Dr. V. She was in Florence, South Carolina. Then we go to New York, and then we're going to go back. That's right. We're going to go back down to Atlanta with Shalonda YWM, Inspirational Treasure. And that's all tomorrow. The lineup, the triple. That's right. Tuesday night triple podcast. So join us starting at 8 o'clock. Get your Bible study on. And then here's some good testimony from Paula Beyond. And then all her friends will be joining her. That's right, Shalonda, Inspirational Treasure. All right, so we hope you have a good night. And please hang out with us some more as we play some more beautiful videos from our artists. Take care, everybody. Thanks for joining. Hit it, robot.
You're listening to Jerry Royce Live Worldwide Podcast.
Can you feel the power? Can you feel the power? Feel the power of double XL.